Chapter 3555. The kneeling Wade family members did not expect Charlie to be so ruthless. They are all family members, all first sons and grandsons. He wanted to imprison them all in the Waderest Mountain and force them to observe mourning for their ancestors for 3 years. For these rich people who are used to enjoying themselves, even 3 days is unacceptable, let alone 3 years. So, the people hurriedly looked at Jonquan and waited for him to say a good word for them. Jonquan looked at the pitiful eyes of these people and felt some compassion in his heart. He did support Charlie to punish these spineless sons and grandsons properly, but he did not expect him to play so hard as soon as he started. So, he couldn't help but say to him, Charlie, making them observe mourning for their ancestors is indeed a good punishment, but 3 years, won't it be a little too long? Long. Charlie seriously said, you must not forget what ideas they were playing one by one. They secretly bought the mourning clothes without communicating with you, clearly wanting to wait until today when you were face to face with Joseph and then turn against you. This is to put you to death and then step on your corpse to join the enemy after you are dead. Do you think the punishment of 3 years of mourning is too long for such a person? Jonquan's expression suddenly flinched. He also understood this truth. Only, he deliberately did not think about this level. But if we really get to the bottom of it, the truth is actually what Charlie said. Andrew said in tears at this moment, Dad, we really didn't mean that, you mustn't misunderstand, Dad. The others also pleaded, hoping that the old man would not be affected by Charlie's words. But Jonquan let out a long sigh, waved his hand, and said to himself, I'm getting old, my heart is softer, and I'm getting more and more womanly. Forget it, whatever. After saying that, he said to Charlie, 3 years or 5 years, it's all up to you. Charlie nodded, said lightly, accepted, do not say a word. Those who do not accept have a second option, which is to do the same as Morgan and go to Madagascar. Once these words came out, everyone immediately shut their mouths. At this kind of time, no one dared to touch Charlie's bad luck. Because, he is not only the head of the Wade family, but also the new master of the cataclysmic front, with his comprehensive strength here, no one would dare to disobey him. Seeing that these people were as honest as quails, Charlie nodded in satisfaction and spoke, since you all have no opinion, then the 3 years will start from today. To Charlie, this group of kneeling Wade family members had no value to the Wade family. This group of people have little ability and little contribution, just like the top rich family's loser rich second generation. All they think about is, what can they do? What to eat? What is not enough? Not much ability but all day and night spent everywhere pretending to be something. The old man used to lick his calf, even if he knew that these people are not capable, but also think they are their own bloodline, of course, to be spoiled and well taken care of. But in Charlie's opinion, this group of people is completely Wade family's A55 holes. Or a bunch of spineless A55 holes. After he took over the Wade family, the first thing to do, is to find a way to jolt these people off from their respective positions, so that they do not indiscriminately act parasitically. But, after all, these people are the Wade family bloodline, are the first sons and grandsons. If they do not make any big mistakes, want to jolt them off is not easy. If the strong jolt, I'm afraid it will trigger the rejection of everyone in the Wade family, and even the outside world will get very poor senses. But the beauty is that this group of people actually took the initiative to give Charlie a perfect opportunity to rectify them. If these people did not secretly go to buy mourning clothes last night, Charlie could not be so justified to abolish them all. Now well, just when Charlie couldn't find a good way to strip them out of the Wade family, they all took the initiative to come to his door. This, with Joseph taking the initiative to come to the door, was similar. At this time, Cynthia, heart-chilling, looked at Charlie, apprehensive and nervous, asked, Charlie, that aunt at least is also the first to admit fault, you just now also said, to give me a chance to be sentenced lightly. Of course. Charlie gently nodded and said, you, of all people, showed the best attitude to admit the mistake, but also the fastest to admit mistakes, so this time it is natural to give you a net. Saying that, he was silent for a moment and said, how about this, you stay here with them to observe mourning for 3 days, and after 3 days go back to Wade family to take good care of grandfather. As soon as Cynthia heard this, 2 lines of hot tears flowed out from the excitement. She really didn't expect that Charlie would really give her such great preferential treatment. Others will be here for 3 years, but she has only to spend 3 days. At this time, Cynthia has completely seen Charlie as the savior, excited and a little incoherent, even the voice is a little trembling said. Charlie, thank you, you do not worry, later I must reform, start a new life. Chapter 3556. Charlie nodded with a calm expression. It's not that he really wants to take care of Cynthia, but this kind of time is to create a huge gap for others. As the saying goes, those who obey me will prosper, those who go against me will die. One prospers, one dies, which is the biggest gap. This is also giving the Wade family gang a clear signal. In the future, all the Wade family must listen to his words and obey. Charlie is also very clear, wants to ensure that the Wade family in the future no longer has any similar situation. He must use strong power, firmly control the entire Wade family. So, today, this concept will be completely rooted in their hearts. After everything was disposed of, Charlie said to Jonquan, Grandpa, things are almost settled, it's time to start the ancestral ritual. Jonquan nodded heavily, okay. The ancestor worship ceremony of the Wade family was originally very grand. Before the ancestral ritual, the 4 forms of rituals, namely music, song, dance, and ritual, were not inferior to the Confucius temple's Confucius ritual. And those sacrificial offerings that were prepared to be used as dedication were also extremely rich in variety. In order to hold a good ancestor ceremony, the Wade family every time hired a professional director and a full set of choreography team, costumes, props, actors, sound, all of them are top. But today, all the long talked about acting staff, no one came. All knew that the Wade family was going to suffer a disaster today, all avoid it. Not to mention these paid actors and actresses, even the more than 700 members of the Wade family branch, also ran away, leaving only Jonathan Wade I. Therefore, this time the ancestor ceremony only helplessly castrate many processes. Music, song, dance, and rituals were all omitted, and the only thing left was the sacrificial rituals performed by the Wade family themselves. Jonquan held the sacrificial text he wrote overnight for many days, while shedding tears, while sighing. This sacrificial text, written all the Wade family people prosperous, unity, the recreation of glory, is a report I prepared to the ancestors of the Wade family. Speaking here, Jonquan let out a long sigh and said with a sigh of relief, but who would have thought that today, more than 700 members of the Wade family's sideline would all be absent. And my first sons and grandsons even wore mourning for others. I am really ashamed in front of my ancestors, and I don't even have the face to read out this sacrificial text. Moreover, the originally prepared ancestral rituals have almost come to a halt, and I don't know how to explain to the ancestors. Jonquan said, silent due to a surge of sudden emotions, several times choked, difficult to continue. He is a person with deep family feelings, at least much stronger than those kneeling in place Wade family sons. When he thought of the once in 12 years ancestral ceremony, it was so shabby and so depressed, he felt extra hard. When he thought of the more than 100 ancestors of the Wade family lying here, his mood was even more painful. He has long passed the age of life, this age of the elderly, more cherished life, and more reverence for the ancestors who have passed away. When a person is young and fearless and has no faith, when he is dying, he can't help but think of his parents and his ancestors, and whether he will see them in the other world after he dies, and if he sees them, how he should face them. The Wade family saw the old man choking, almost all lowered their heads in shame. While Charlie took the sacrificial paper he wrote and tore it to pieces, his face was firm as he spoke. "Grandpa, since the sacrificial paper is inappropriate, then just tear it up, no need to blame yourself too much." Saying that, he said, "As the saying goes, many difficulties make a nation, for a family, it is the same." This ancestral ceremony is a bit shabby and simple, but it also allows us to recognize the true face of many so-called relatives. In the future, the Wade family will no longer believe in bloodlines, only in actual actions. All members of the direct line, as well as the side branches, will have to show actual actions if they want to gain benefits from the Wade family in the future. If anyone still wants to share the wealth but not the hardship, then sorry, I will make him pay the price. Speaking of this, Charlie looked at Leon and asked him, "Housekeeper Leon, those members of the sideline who fled overnight still can't be contacted?" Leon said awkwardly, "Young master, all are still off or not in the service area. It is estimated that before the outside world receives a definite news about today's incident, they will not turn on the phone." Charlie frowned and spoke, "In that case, when the cataclysmic front releases the news to the outside world later, telling the outside world about today's Wade family's admission of defeat, they must be even more to draw a line with the Wade family, right?" "I suppose so." Leon respectfully said, "Young master, in fact, most of the side branches you do not need to pay too much attention to, they have a little practical contribution to the Wade family. On the contrary, they get benefits from the Wade family. These people are like those small countries when the other nations prosper, every time they rush to worship. It seems to be very pious, but each one is here to eat and drink enough in our heavenly kingdom, and then take some leftover benefits to be satisfied. The Wade family will benefit from clearing the line with them." Jonquan also spoke at this time. "Leon is right, many side families have been relying on our Wade family resources to support the same business, given to others to do. It may only cost 100 million, given to the Wade family side families to do, it may cost 120 million, with such a side family, it is better to draw a line in the future." Charlie said in a cold voice, "Draw the line is certainly to draw, but must not let them just go without loss." Saying that, he looked at Joseph and spoke, "Joseph, later on, have your people put out the word again. Say that Cataclysmic Front has gotten the full list of the Wade family's ancestral ceremony this time. And all the Wade family members who are not present today must gather under Waderest Mountain by 8 o'clock tomorrow morning, and whoever dares not come will be responsible for the consequences. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel for new updates. Thank you very much, keep safe and God bless you all."